This Business Newsmakers is brought to you by Rondout Savings Bank. Banking your way every day.
Hey everyone, Frank Girafoli here. Welcome to this week's Business Newsmakers. I'm here with Heather Casto, the chef and owner of The Chocolate Mousse. And Heather, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's great to have you here. So we love talking about local businesses, and especially what you do with food. Everybody loves good food. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about your background. Tell us a little about where you're from and how you ended up here.
I'm a Long Island girl, and I came up here for the culinary. So I have a bachelor's degree in culinary arts. And I met my husband working in North Carolina. He came back up here and we stayed.
Okay, so you're from Long Island, but you don't have the Long Island accent. So what part are you from and how come you don't have it? What's going on?
I am from smack center, where I'm 8 miles from either the beach or the bay, and God, do I miss it.
You mean Hudson Valley's not the same? You know many beaches here, is that it?
Yeah, not quite the same.
Okay, so you're in Long Island. You went to the culinary. Mm-hmm. Okay, what got you first interested in food? How did you decide that's what you wanted to do?
Actually, in high school, I had enough credits I could graduate early and didn't. So I wanted to do fashion design because being 4'10", I didn't want to hem clothes, but they didn't have that. So I went to cooking instead and had a degree from that and came up here to complete it.
Okay, so you go to the culinary, and was there a specialty that you had there when you came out? Did you know what you wanted to do? You wanted to have your own business? You wanted to work in a restaurant? What was your goal?
I always knew I wanted to do my own thing, and I had started as a personal chef going into clients' homes, and I really enjoyed that. It was different every day, and that was really important because I didn't want to be bored, and I didn't want to listen to someone else's rules.
Okay, so now you have the chocolate mousse. So tell us, when did that start, and how did that come about?
That actually started in about 2003, and I was doing cake decorating. And then when I came up here for school, I decided to do culinary arts because my mentor had suggested it. So I did that, and now I have a pretty well-rounded background in both.
Okay. And so out of curiosity, I mean, so many, if you look at businesses over the last 10, 15 years, there's been so many different changes going on. Have you seen a change since you first started to today in terms of food preparation, the things that you do, or is pretty much everything the same?
Oh, completely different. When I had started, there were big parties. We did a lot for higher-end clients, and then when the economy crashed, nobody did that because nobody had the income. So I had gotten my nutrition license because if you have an illness, you still need to eat. So I was able to work with clients who needed some help and couldn't do it on their own. Some years we do really well with weddings, and now is a big thing for city people to come in and do outdoor weddings because they're saving some money and they're getting a rustic feel without having to be in the city, and that's been a big swing.
Yeah, I would imagine that. I mean, obviously events would be a big part for what you do, so weddings, that type of thing. But also I'm hearing now you're doing a lot of kind of personal chef type of stuff. Tell us about that.
I have a nutrition license, and we have quite a few clients that we do weekly prepared meals for. So either they don't have time, they don't have the energy, or they just don't understand what they need. A lot of times what will happen is if you're going through dialysis or whatever the case may be, a nutritionist may say you can't have vitamin K, you can't have iron, you need to be high on potassium. And then you go home, and what does that mean? I know what that means, and I actually know how to cook for it also. It keeps them feeling good, and it's also, if you're eating poorly, it's cyclical. You don't feel well, you don't want to cook for yourself. So you make something that's not good, so then you feel worse. Then you really don't want to cook for yourself. So we just keep them out of that cycle.
There you go. So tell me a little about that process, though. If I decided I wanted to have a personal chef, how would that process begin? Do we sit down and talk about, maybe I don't know what my nutritional needs are, or how much, I mean, how does that process begin?
Well, there is a difference between a private chef and a personal chef.
Okay.
A private chef is someone who comes to you and cooks for you. A personal chef is someone who has many clients. I do both, but predominantly the meal service is personal chef. I have 2 weeks worth of menus that go out to my clients. There's always a chicken, fish, vegetarian, beef, and pork. And then my clients tell me how many of each meal they want. It gets cooked and delivered to them. So Monday it's in their fridge and they get to reheat and eat at their own convenience.
So I come home, I get home on a Monday, I've got a whole week's worth of food there, then I just come home after that, throw it in the oven for a few minutes, and I'm done. Is that what you're telling me?
That's pretty much it. Even the microwave, it's easier.
So I think I actually like you more now than I did before, just that whole concept.
That's all it took. So all it took, you mean, for years?
It was that. And so does it include a dessert, or is it just kind of the main meal?
Some of my clients are getting desserts. Those often who are diabetic and who are really watching their daily sugars will get all their meals, including desserts. Some are just getting dinners, some are getting lunches. It's really up to the client to let me know. There's no contract, so 1 week they may want 6, 1 week they may have guests over, need more, or they may be going away and need less.
So the people that do this, does it vary across the board? Does it tend to be executives of companies, business owners, moms? I mean, who does a personal chef type of thing?
Kind of everybody.
Yeah.
I have one client who is a heavy athlete, so she's getting something a little different than others. I have a paraplegic who is getting meals, and in the last 3 years that we've cooked for him hasn't been in the hospital because we've been able to keep his numbers down and keep everything even keel. Then we have clients who just don't have time. Mom and dad work and they just don't have time or don't want to cook.
Yeah, I think that, I've heard more and more people over the last few years who are doing this type of thing where they're getting meals prepared for them, coming back, and it's just it's a great idea to keep you healthy, and when we're so busy today, both parents working, it's very difficult. So let's talk a little bit about special event type of things that you do, everything from weddings to working with companies. Give us an idea of the different types of companies you work for, the events that you would do.
We do quite a bit of nonprofits. There's always fundraiser events, so we can stay within pretty much any budget. We really customize to what the client needs. Weddings, when we do weddings, we do most of their planning for them because a lot of time they don't know what they need. So we're pretty regimented about giving them a list, and that way nothing's missed the day of, because it's not your job as a bride or groom to worry about that, but really to enjoy your day. We really do kind of custom to whatever you can think of, and we've done some very interesting events. So.
Well, I have to give a testimonial. You've done some for me, for B&I. We've had some leadership team trainings a few years ago, and I know we were kind of doing like a dinner meeting, and I figured it was going to be this big kind of dinner, and you kind of made it so simple for me. You said, well, Frank, what if you just did wraps and sandwiches, and we included this, and I think what made it easy for me was that I didn't have to think of what to do, is that you kind of came with, well, here's like 4 different options. Here's what people like. Here's what we can do. We can do vegetarian. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds great. And then you brought it, you set it up, you did the whole thing, and people just loved it. And I looked like the hero, and that's what really mattered. You know what I'm saying?
We actually have quite a few clients who, for the holidays, will have meals brought to them. They put it in their oven, and they never tell their guests that they didn't cook. And, they look great, and I've, worked for it.
Wow, that's incredible. So weddings would be one, corporate stuff would be other. Any other kind of crazy stuff that you've done?
Well, we're in graduation season, so
Okay.
that's always good. We have high school, college, and luckily this year, none of the colleges are doing it on the same day, so
Okay.
that makes it a little easier.
So your business, I guess, is somewhat seasonal. Different times of the year would be different types of clients and events that you would be doing, yes?
Correct.
So now we're coming into the grad season, if you will. So a lot of colleges, a lot of high schools, people doing those type of parties going forward. And for those type of parties, is there kind of a set menu, or do you kind of sit down again and customize it to whatever they need?
Everything's really custom. If there's a dish that's a favorite to the the person who's graduating, it's really important to make it their day and about them. Same for their cake. We custom design to whatever they like and whatever they need.
Fantastic. So the meal and the cake all included in one?
Everything's included.
Oh,
Staff,
I like
we do
I like
one
that.
stop.
So if people wanted to reach you, what's the best way to do that? What would be a website and or phone number to reach you at?
It's chocolatemousecatering.com, and it's MOUSSE, or they can reach me at 845-518-6533.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate your coming on, because I think anytime we have local businesses on, and especially with the service type business that you're doing, you're going out helping people actually become more productive, take care of their families, and just be better executives, business owners, things along those lines, because if we don't eat right, if we don't eat at all, we're going to have a problem. So thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Everybody, that's this week's Business Newsmakers. This is Frank Giraffe. Again, we're here with Heather Casto of the Chocolate Mousse. Check out our website and get some meals and some events taken care of by the Chocolate Mousse. We'll see you soon.